Johar and good afternoon, friends. Welcome on the World Indigenous Peoples Day. It's a great opportunity for us to all introspect what have we done to better the conditions of the indigenous peoples in our countries, in our societies, and what are their issues, whether the so-called mainstream ever know what the indigenous people face and how have the developmental agenda proved to be destructive for the beautiful habitat of the indigenous people who have protected our environment and our natural resources. We have with us a very important guest from Tripura, uh, Mr. Anthony Debbarma. He is an advocate and human rights defender, Secretary General of the Borok People's Human Rights Organization, and convener of the Action Committee of Civil Society in Tripura. So, welcome, Anthony. Welcome on this program.
Thank you, Rawat, for the invitations and for your excellency of bringing us together again after a long gap. And
Yes.
remembering this, particularly the Indigenous Day, is, I think, it will be remarkable for us.
Yeah, because you know the India must know, and Tripura is a classic example actually,
Right,
how the indigenous
right,
people have become, you know, a minority in their own country, on its own
right,
state. And
right, right,
I will begin because we are facing a very critical situation world over right now
right,
because of the pandemic. And the pandemic has hurt the poorest of the poor the most at the moment after the lockdown.
right.
How is the situation in Tripura, and how are people, the poorest people, particularly the indigenous people, how are they facing it? What is the condition?
See, as we are all experiencing or experience in our day-to-day life, this COVID-19, as we have seen how the national lockdown started and how the state also has taken up this issue very seriously. But on the other hand, I am really proud to be an indigenous person. And for us, indigenous it means a lot. And this corona or COVID-19 doesn't make us that into a serious, because our structure, our food habit, our culture itself is a full of immunity. Doctors, medicals talks about the immunity. If you have a strong immunity, then corona cannot harm you. But for us, having said that, the kind of food that we eat, the kind of food that we take itself is a full of nutrition, where the immunity is very high, very strong. For example, we take a chili.
Yes.
They call it Raja Mirchi or the King chili.
Okay. Oh.
Then we have this small as from the Zoom,
Okay.
that chili. So these are very nutritious food where we take. And we take, there is indigenous food, that chakui, godog, mosadeng, all that, because it is very difficult to translate in English at the
Yeah, yeah,
same
no, I
time.
understand that. Yes,
Until
yes.
unless we show the
Yeah,
items to the
yeah,
people.
yeah.
So in that way, we are strong enough to fight this virus. So now, this virus cannot harm. But very sad thing is that when the old person who died just because of his illness, he was quite old and he was quite ill for quite a long time. But when he was brought to the hospital, then he passed away. Then the government of Tripura declared that he died because of the corona.
Okay.
And also they have announced to give the award of rupees 10 lakh to the victim,
Okay.
to the person who died, to
Okay.
the family.
Mm-hmm.
Now my question is that, thank God that our people was not the first persons to get a positive tested. It
Okay.
was the non-indigenous people who got a positive.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, there is no way for the non-indigenous people to blame or to discriminate, saying that indigenous people brought the coronavirus in the state.
Yes. Yes.
So thank God that 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 opportunity was not given to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now coming back on this lockdown. Lockdown is this the very meaning of the lockdown, or the very meaning of introducing the lockdown, is for us it's not a new thing. It has been there for since time immemorial. We call it care. Care means like you cut a bamboo, you make it bamboo, and you bend like this a carpet that bamboo and put in the middle of the root, covering the entire root. Then you put like a trishul one in the
Okay.
middle of that.
Okay.
So the entrance of the village route is totally blocked with that,
Okay.
and there is some this traditional way of giving the ritual thing. So we put this banana leaf and other leaf. Then it is understood that this village is totally locked down, that no one can enter.
Oh.
So this means what for us? It is not a coronavirus or it is not the any other disease. This means for us is to make the village at least once in a year a holy village.
Okay.
In order to purify the village, if the bad things are there, we chase out and we don't let any other villagers, even if
Okay.
he or she is indigenous people, to
Mm-hmm.
come in.
How long
So
it goes?
it is the only village people
Okay.
will remain, and villager also cannot go out from the village. If
Okay.
from morning we start from early morning till
Okay.
the evening,
Okay. It's like one day.
it's like one day.
Okay.
Thereafter only other people can enter. So this is how we actually practices since from time and memory. Even today, the care now, since in Hindu methodology, now they start calling care puja.
Mm-hmm.
We call it care mutai.
Okay.
Now at least the state, there is a state holiday on that particular day.
Okay.
So this lockdown has been there since from inception in our culture as indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, these systems are there, and we know how to abide by all these lockdown systems by distancing. Now we call it social distancing. We call it social distancing. Now I am saying social distancing is different than the
Yes.
person distancing.
Yes. Physical distancing. What is it?
That physical distancing
Yeah.
need to be actually used, and that is
Yes.
the most appropriate way of saying that personal distancing.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And it is, and I don't agree with the social distancing.
No. No.
Social
It's.
distancing means
Yeah.
what? So there are some lawful in that. So
Yeah.
because we are born and brought up with that culture, so we know.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
in that way.
Okay.
But now we respect this lockdown and COVID-19. Of course, everybody loves their life. But in this regards, the indigenous people of Tripura, particularly in Tripura, we were being deprived and we were being discriminated in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Many ways. Let me give you the best example. The examples are like the indigenous women, in indigenous youths, they do collect the vegetables from the forest,
Mm-hmm.
from the Zoom,
Yes.
and they bring to the city to sell. even during the lockdown, because for those essential
Commodities.
communities, I mean, there is no lockdown. Even
Yes.
in lockdown, they are permitted to bring all those stuff.
Yes.
Now, there are one place, not on one place, there are many market where our indigenous people were to stop and were warned not to sell the vegetables. Then time and again that there was a problem. Then when we keeps on hearing, we keep on seeing this kind of situations, where we have no other choice than to complain to the police.
Okay.
We had complained to the police.
Mm-hmm.
Police came, but police did not do anything. Then on one day, one non-indigenous person came with a Bolero vehicle and warned that youth, saying that you don't sell vegetable. If you continue to sell the vegetable, then I will run my vehicle over you and kill you.
Oh.
Yes. So when this kind of situation arises,
Mm-hmm.
we have no other choice. Then we told the police to arrest the persons and teach him the lesson as per the law. Then police came, they met the person and they just simply went away.
Okay.
Then we said nothing doing. That means even the police are supporting to those people who are discriminating the indigenous people. So in that regard, then we protest and we block the road,
Mm-hmm.
saying until unless police arrest the culprit, we will not leave. Ultimately, police came, arrested the persons, but the non-indigenous people came in a group and snatched away the person from the police hand.
Oh.
But
When did it happen?
this is 17 May.
Oh.
But to a shocking surprise, the police did not do anything and police let the culprit
Go.
fled away.
Oh.
Then at the end of the day, what happened? The entire situations, it so happened, they came together and they said, we'll chop your head
Oh.
and we'll kill you. And seeing in front of the police, these people acted and police start charging the lathi charge. And when the police give the lathi charge, they all fled away from the places. Then there was a media. The media were actually publishing the whole incident from the morning till the noon what has happened. But all of a sudden after 3 o'clock, the media also changes in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Then after a week, I got a notice from the police saying that our names has been filed, FIR has been filed,
Okay.
and we were being served under section 41A and section so and so, blah, 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 blah. Then accordingly, I went and met to the police concerned, and I said, it is I who inform you, who has reported you, and you have seen with your own eye how these people have acted, and you have arrested, and at the same time they have snatched away from your hand. But you did not file an FIR against them, against their name, but you have served a notice the person who has informed you, the person who loves peace and harmony, the person who doesn't want the incident to take place, the person who doesn't want that the communal conflict should not take place, the violence should not take place, but to the same people, you are actually filing an FIR against them. So I thought that that is over.
Okay.
But yesterday, day before yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
while I was actually celebrating the Indigenous Day, also I am receiving a call that my notice, second notice is again coming. Today morning also they came to give the notice, then I was not at home, so I didn't get a notice. So this kind of hatred, discriminations from the administration side is totally against the indigenous people, and it is a violation of the human rights.
So in terms of, if I say, like in terms of food security issue, because there is no work, as you say, that people are not being allowed even to go to the market to sell their produce. What is the condition of the indigenous people? Are they okay? Like,
Yes,
have
yes,
they got support from the
yes.
state?
Actually, I'm coming back to that. So, and right from the beginning, first lockdown, second lockdown, third lockdown, we have seen many of our indigenous people who are particularly in a rural area, who are in a hilly area, were actually starving. They don't get food.
Okay.
They don't get food because they don't even have the proper market to sell their vegetables. So how they'll get the food? And the PDS system is not reaching timely, and there is no extra service given to the people. As a usual, once in a month, you can, collect your food stuff from the ration. That's it. But in that, our people, those are little well-to-do, those are in government service, those are students organizations, they collected some few handful of resources and purchased the food, vegetable, rice, sanitizer, masks, medicines, and other things. So they went and distributed to the village. So that is the helping hand that we did among the indigenous people. But we did not get any support from the non-indigenous people or neither from the administration. Now, knowing that under this COVID-19, that there are many schemes are there resources are there to support to the poorest of the poor and to the needy people. But I haven't seen that all those schemes are being utilized, all those funds are being utilized for the indigenous people. And knowing that, I have filed an RTI to the Prime Minister office seeking the Prime Minister Care Fund and also the Chief Minister Care Fund, how the funds has flown for this to fight the COVID-19 and whether the funds are being placed for the indigenous peoples and for the needy people or not.
Okay.
But when I received the reply, I received saying that Prime Minister Care Fund doesn't fall under the RTI Act. So therefore, they cannot give me the information.
Yes.
So now one could understand the kind of discriminations is taking place. So that's why we call it, this is a racism. So not only in Tripura, we have seen many of our Northeast boys and girls and those who are doing service outside of the Northeast have faced this kind of discriminations while they went to market, while they went to grocery shop, while they went to the office and other things. So it is very painful to know under this circumstance also you are being discriminated, also you are being deprived, also your rights are being taken away. So in that regards, particularly looking into the theme of the Indigenous Day, the COVID-19 and the indigenous people's resilience, it's really making a very meaningful to articulate and to share the kind of
So I would come now.
situation that prevails in the state.
Tripura was once upon a time before the independence, before it merged with India. I think in 1949 or 47.
1949, 15 October
Yeah,
1949.
15th October 1949, Tripura merged with India. And I think till that point in time, Tripura had the majority of the indigenous people. Its ruler were the indigenous person. But after I think after the 1950, the indigenous population in Tripura has been reducing. Is it reducing or are the other people coming in? What is the condition now?
I think the entire nation knows if the nations are civilized, if the nations are concerned about their nations, if the nations are concerned about the security and integrity of the country, I think they are well aware about the situation of Tripura. Now, to let you know, for your kind information, Tripura was never a part of India before. Tripura was independent, having its own currency, having its own constitutions. It's only after India independent we were asked to merge, or rather, we were forced to merge. We were not willing, as per what I have learned from the past, but we were forced. But nevertheless, we were not only forced from the Indian side, but also we were also being forced from the Pakistan side. But our queen thought, India being a secular country, if
Yes.
at all, even if we're being forced to merge, then since India being a secular country, I think it is better
Yes,
to merge
definitely.
with India. So
Definitely.
this is how today proudly we are Indian today. But does the India consider our people as Indian? That's a big question for us today. If India is considering our indigenous people as an Indian, then why today the Indian citizens in its own state is becoming minority, from minority to microscopic? Then where is the security and protections of those citizens of Tripura today? Whether the government of India is protecting the citizens of Tripura as Indian citizens or not. So I am putting a question to the nation today. We have enough evidence, enough history, enough proof that palace in the heart of the Agartalla itself is a significance, itself is signifying that this is the Tripura nations, this is the Borok nations. But today, if you go inside the palace, you hardly find the indigenous people history, indigenous people monument, indigenous people currency or other documents. But you will only find many others, foreigners, people's pictures, documents, and many others. Therefore, I don't want to even visit that palace anymore, because the day when our palace become the state museum, it has totally violated the history of Tripura. Have you ever seen in any part of this country or any part of this nation where the kings were ruled for centuries and their buildings, their historical places, their historical monument are being turned into a state museum? To my knowledge, I haven't seen. Even if I go to Pune, even if I go to Maharashtra, I see it's only there. The palace will be only those royal families, pictures and royal families, monuments and other
Yeah, and the
history
history,
and
yes.
other things are there. But whereas in Tripura, only 10% of your histories are there, but the other 90% are all manipulated. So now you see the scenario. Now coming back, after the merger agreement with Tripura and India, right from 1951 census, you see we were a majority, no doubt. It is not I'm proclaiming myself that
No, no,
we are
it's a recorded.
majority.
Yeah, it's
It's a
numbers.
record, it's a census, it's a government document.
Yes.
But if you see the census, the demographic changes, and if you see in one of the particular year, you will find all India digital growth was 21.6. All India digital growth population. Whereas Tripura alone is 78.71, which is a totally abnormal. So even if a single mother gives 100 child birth in a single day, won't able to reach to that percentage. That means population has been transported from other country to our nations. And our nation were quiet. Our nation were closing their eyes. They don't see anything. And today when we oppose the Citizenship Amendment Bill, we became empty. When we made the Honorable Home Minister, we told, we are not against the Citizenship Amendment Bill. We do support. But please show us the mechanism to protect your own citizens. How are you going to protect your own citizens? Now we are concerned about the Hindu who are living in Afghanistan, who are living in Pakistan, who are living in Bangladesh. You are concerned about Buddhists, Jains, and others. But you are not concerned about your own citizens who are living in the Northeast, who are living in Tripura. You are not concerned about them. If you are having that concern, considering Northeast or Tripura as an Indian, as a citizen of India, then you could have seriously think before you decide about CAB. Now the entire international boundary is open. They could come in, they could go in.
But I want to ask you one question, because this whole question of people coming from Bangladesh, as you are saying, that foreigner came to our country and we became a minority in our own country or our own state. So this is not we cannot blame the current government for this, because it is from the particularly 1971, I think, when during the Bangladesh liberation.
No, for me, no. Yes, in a way, if we think in a good human thought, yes, you are right. But my question is today, let us blame the earlier government, the past half-century government, who did not do anything. But you are now in a current government.
Yes.
What is your duty? If the past government is not doing anything, so it is your duty to do, right? So what protections, or how are you going to protect, or how are you going to do this? People coming from the other country, how are you going to stop? So you are current government. So you are the guardian of the nation today. So every citizen has the rights to question to you, because the entire country wants to know what you are doing. So that's why we are asking, it is good that you are going to introduce the Citizenship Amendment Bill. But what about who came before 2014?
Yes.
What about those people who have come before 2014?
Before or
you
after?
are also going to give them a citizenship.
After.
That no, even after 2014, who are coming, you said okay. you are also going to give, right? But those before who are 2014, you are not taking any action. You are also going to give a citizen to them. Then who were there before, they also got a citizen. And who are coming now, they are also going to get a citizen. Then you are going to become more from microscopy. Is there any other English word? I don't know.
So what will be, because Northeast have been very sensitive on this issue, because we saw, because before the pandemic happened, there was a lot of protest in Assam and other parts. What are the fear that the people in your state have in mind? What do you think? Why they were that much opposed?
See, the fear is that now, of course, officially we cannot produce the record.
No.
Every day they are coming. We have some video footage, how they came in and how people were changing. And we can also see the data, the voter list, the census. Then we can easily identify who are coming today also. So our fear is that once you introduce this CAB, the earlier people who has come also will become a citizen. Now people who are coming today are also going to become a citizen. So if you are saying after 2014, no one will get a citizenship, then how are you going to protect, or what is the scientific mechanism that you have to identify and delete and deport them? Is there any mechanism? So we are asking to the government today, do you have any mechanism to do that? And what is the guarantee after you introduce CFB that we will be a majority, that we will be ruling our own state? Is there any guarantee?
The government says that the government says that, you know, the minorities in our neighborhood, particularly in Bangladesh and Pakistan, and we know who are the minorities there.
No,
Their condition is very bad. And
I have been to Bangladesh. No Hindu in Bangladesh is suffering. I have seen. There are much more well-to-do. There are much more well-to-do families are there. Many are there. They are well established. They are not suffering.
But there are reports in Bangladesh where Hindus are maltreated, and even the Chakma tribals, actually, their condition is bad.
No, not only Chakma. In terms of indigenous people, I'm telling you, not only Chakma. There are Tripuris are there also there.
So the reports are there. Like in Bangladesh, even the Rohingyas who have come to Bangladesh, they have been settled in the indigenous people zones, and it has become a kind of a conflict zone. So sometime actually we it's a very bigger situation where, you know, people are in trouble and they don't have any space.
For me, being a human rights activist, being a human rights defender, I don't go against anybody whether you belong to different religions or different denominations or a different, you know, tribe or different surname. I don't have any hatred against them. I love them. From the core of my heart, I love them. But the question is that just because you love them, are you going to suffer? Are you going to give your life? I cannot become a Jesus Christ. Right? I cannot sacrifice myself.
No, because the government doesn't think of, because
But today I'm saying, I have seen many of our people's life is lost, but we are not being considered. Not even a single national media, a single sentence, they will actually highlight about the issue in Tripura, what is happening. Now, what we are saying, if you are interested to bring all those Hindu minority from the other part of the country, why only in Tripura? Why only in the Northeast? Why don't you distribute equally to the other states? UP is very big. Gujarat is very big.
Yes. That is very
big. Tamil Nadu is very big. Kerala is very big, Haryana is very big, Punjab is very big. Why don't you distribute?
The government says basically the places which are like culturally close, you know. So a person who is culturally close
But
to,
but culturally close, the indigenous and non-indigenous people, our culture cannot be close. We are totally different. But those people who are coming from Bangladesh, their culture are more close with the Delhi, with the
okay,
UP, with the
okay.
Gujarat, with the Maharashtra.
So you are saying that the Bengalis that speak Bengali in Tripura have no cultural connect with the indigenous people of Tripura. Is that
No,
true?
culturally we don't have any connection.
You don't have any connect.
But as a human
No, no,
being,
yeah, yeah. Human being, fine.
as we live the society, we learn to adopt, to respect and accept the different culture. We have accepted their culture, we have adopted their culture, but have they adopted our culture? Have they adopted our food system, you ask? But we have adopted culture, language, food system, everything.
So the Bengalis say that Tripura is actually a mini Bengal.
Now everybody can claim we are part of India.
Because they say that is the Bengali speaking, most of the chief minister is a Bengali
Yes,
origin person and
it is
everything.
true, because the indigenous people has become microscopy. They're invisible now. So even if someone, since you knew, that's why you know. If someone who has never visited Tripura, and if even non-indigenous people go and claims I'm a Tripuri, then they will say, oh, Tripuri looks like this. And when they see me, are you don't look like Tripuris.
Oh,
Tripuris, those people that looks like Tripuris. This is what I was asked in Delhi.
oh,
That also with one of the learned person who is
okay.
being highly respected, but he
Ah,
has never visited
Tripura.
Tripura, so that's why he's not aware about our features.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
imagine,
So
but
in terms of your data, just I'm coming, what was the demographic profile of Tripura during independence and what is it today? Can you just share us? Like the percentage of the indigenous people, I suppose in 30s it was 95% in 1930s.
yes, very much, and there is a government record, and
Yeah,
that's not our record.
yeah, that is the census data I have actually. Yes. And then during independence, how much was the number? What was the percentage? Hello.
So
Yeah.
the indication, people can refer to that. Then if any doubts or current situation, what is really happening, they can also come and visit physically and understand
No,
the real.
I was just asking what is the percentage right now of the
See,
Adivasi, the indigenous people?
officially as per the 2011,
Yeah.
they still make us that we are still 30%.
We are 30%. Okay.
We
Okay.
are still 30%. Officially they say.
Okay.
But unofficially, I'm saying we are not even 20%.
Okay. Okay. But okay, you they say 30% fine. Now you tell us, can you share us what is the how are the indigenous people represented in political and bureaucratic structure of Tripura?
See, in politicals, we have the total numbers of seats is 60 assembly seats are there.
Yes.
Out of 60, we have 20 indigenous reserved seats.
Mm-hmm.
And at current situations, out of 20 reserved seats, the national political party is having 11 seats won by them,
Okay.
and regional political party, they were given 9 in total,
Mm-hmm.
but they won only in 8 seats.
Okay.
So now regional political party representing in the House of Assembly is having less strength,
Okay.
because out of 20, 11 seat is with the
With the BJP.
national party,
Yes.
and one is with the CPIM party.
Okay.
Now, even in the cabinet, because as per the theory of Indian democratic system,
Yes.
majority must rule.
Yes.
So in future, I don't think that the indigenous people of Tripura will able to rule,
Okay. Oh.
because we are becoming day by day more microscopic, and they are becoming more majority. So definitely they are going to rule. So now, therefore, now since the regional political party is having less seat, less strength, so even if they wanted to do something, they are not able to do, because
But
they have no
I want to
power.
yeah, it's good. Regional, what you are saying, regional political party. So I want to know, what is this regional? Is this Indigenous People Party or
Yes.
any other
See,
party?
when I talk about regional political party, I mean it is a purely indigenous people's party.
Okay.
And the only party who speak about the right of the indigenous people is only the regional political party.
Okay.
Even if I, even if I'm indigenous,
Hmm.
being indigenous, I join with the national party,
Yeah.
but I cannot speak about my people.
Hmm.
I have to abide by the party
Line.
ideology
Yeah,
and
party line.
party
Yeah.
directions.
Yes.
So even if 11 seats are under the national party,
Hmm.
they abide by their rules and guidance and control.
Yeah, yeah. That I agree. That I agree.
So
So
the
you
only regional political party can raise the voice of our rights. But even though that, we don't have the strength. So therefore, our voice are not being heard.
So I want to ask you one question. Like Tripura, for a very long period, was ruled by the CPM, and there was the presence of the Congress Party also. And now there is BJP. So three national parties, so-called whatever you can say, three national parties were there, are there in Tripura. Now, in terms of representation of the indigenous people and in terms of giving them fair deal, not merely, of course, chief ministership is also important, but let us say that they have not given chief ministership. What, how can you define these parties and their role in whether denying or giving representation to the indigenous people in their party structure and in the government?
See one thing, whether the Congress or CPM or the BJP, for us doesn't make any difference, because the majority is there.
Okay.
The majority is there. Now, only a good civilized thinking or a good human being thinking can actually bring the changes, or can bring the indigenous people in a right platform.
Mhm.
If they consider indigenous people are important to hold the post. Now, we were expecting that the BJP would have given the chief ministership to our people,
Mhm.
because prior to election, BJP is not even visible in the state of Tripura. So indigenous people were fed up by the rule by CPM for last 2.5 decades. That
Yes.
is one generation.
Hmm.
So in that,
Mic is your Anthony. Your mic is mute. Your mic is mute. Audio mute. Can you unmute? Yeah.
so as I said, that the 60 seat in the assembly out of 60 20, and regional political party representations is there, but they are very less strength. So it is all national party. So the national party MLAs or the minister, they cannot talk about the right of indigenous people because they are guided by their own ideology and rules and regulations. So it is only the indigenous people party who could actually raise, but their strength is very less. So therefore, even looking at the whole situations, we can only come into a power or control if we can be like Maharashtra at present. Maharashtra, they were in a Tripura alliance, even pushful alliance. But when the chief minister's seat thing came, then there is a
Yeah,
lot of
but
changes and
does
other
the
things. So
Indigenous
they
People
became
Party, the
they
Indigenous
become
people,
the factor. They become the
okay,
factor. But here, till today, we could not make a factor to the national party or any other party to make. Otherwise, if out of 20 seats, if we can conquer 20 seats, then we can actually make a positions. We
okay.
can be the decider.
But I want to ask you, like when you are saying the Indigenous political party, Indigenous People's Party, so does this party field only candidate in the Indigenous people areas, or it field the entire state? Because if it want to rule the entire state, then it will have to approach the other people also. Like,
No, see there is another very tactfully it is actually made administratively. Now earlier the 20 seats of indigenous peoples are actually confined within the inhabited and populations of the indigenous people.
okay,
As per that geography, the ST seats are being reserved. But now what they did, they start doing the delimitations.
yes,
They knew now, so they are actually diluting
okay, the number will
the
reduce.
numbers. They reduce, or other indigenous and non-indigenous they will mix. Sometimes there will be 60% of indigenous, then 40% of the non-indigenous, and
Okay,
sometimes they are 60%, we are 40%. So in that kind of delimitations they made, and therefore it is very difficult for us to contest in all the seats because
yes,
so due to that very intelligently they did these delimitations. So we are also protesting of this
delimitation.
intelligent, yeah, way of doing the delimitation.
So my question was actually that what is the percentage of indigenous people in the administration, in the government, as well other services, jobs, and are you
See, we
30%? 30%?
instead, yes, instead we are having, as per reservation, we are getting 31%.
That is
But
that
but
is that
but
is being fulfilled.
no. But there are many backlog
Yeah.
where it is not being fulfilled.
Okay.
Even the High Court has directed to fulfill, even the Supreme Court has directed to fulfill, but hasn't been fulfilled.
Okay.
Otherwise, today in administrations, we could have been quite many.
Okay.
And moreover, like in terms of engineering department, there are huge, many people are there who are highly qualified in engineering.
Okay.
And but the system that should happen that if our people were given the position as per the rules, as
Mm.
per the reservation policy, today they could have pulled the entire office, the entire office of PWD, and they could have been the boss of each and every office. But there is one case which has been filed by the non-indigenous people,
Okay.
and that case is still pending. And because of that case, now no ST is getting any promotion.
Oh. What is
Yes.
this case about? Like in the promotion?
This is actually SC, ST came together.
Okay, okay,
They
okay,
have challenged the guidelines of the promotion policy,
okay,
because
okay,
then when all those things came, then they saw that STs and SCs will hold many good position, many office. So
okay,
therefore, then the general they have challenged to it.
okay, okay,
But in the High Court, the SC, ST they won. Then day after they moved to the Supreme Court, and once
okay.
they had moved to Supreme Court, now the case is still
There is a pending
there.
there. Okay,
there.
okay. So I'm coming to this point. Like since 1950 till this date, how many indigenous person became the chief minister of Tripura? Because this is just an interesting point. Because
That's why I'm saying it is so interesting. Any party who comes to power, they come to the power because of our ST reservation seat.
okay.
We have 20 seats.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when communists was ruling for a one generation,
Yes.
all the 20 seats is our seat.
As a CPMs have all the seat from indigenous
Yes,
territories. Okay.
yes, yeah. Since they abide by the CPM ideology, and also moreover ruled by the Supremo is non-indigenous people. So whatever they say, even if they threaten that otherwise will not stay with your government, will move out 20 seats, then the CPM also will fall. But still then, they have no power to say this. So they cannot even want. So therefore, they have to abide by what the Supremo says, what the Manik Sarkar says. They have to
Okay.
listen, yes, boss.
Okay. Okay.
Therefore, I'm saying, communists were saying, we are for the poor people.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have articulated in such a way, in Bengali it says, Amra Goriber Sarkar.
Oh, Amra Garib Ki Sarkar. Okay.
Amra Goriber Sarkar. हम लोग
गरीब
गरीब
की
का
सरकार, मानिक
सरकार
सरकार,
है,
गरीब का
मालिक
मानिक
सरकार.
सरकार.
हाँ, गरीब का. Then I have seen how they managed to step for the one generation is that a
Yeah.
certain percentage more from poor to more poorer.
Okay.
Say in an average, if our people are 20% poor
Mm-hmm.
in this particular 5 years,
Okay.
then in order to stay in power, in order to come into power for another 5 years, they have to make another 10% poor.
Okay. So
So
poverty.
in that way, they have to make more percentage poor, increase the poor, increase the percentage of the poor, then they could come into a power. So that's why I'm saying, আমরা গরিবের সরকার এর জন্য আমরা প্রতি বছর 10% करा गरीब बनाते होवे.
अच्छा,
मीन हम
वाह.
लोग गरीब का सरकार है, इसलिए हम लोग
हर
हर
साल.
साल 10% गरीब बनाना होगा.
बाप रे बाप. Okay. Oh.
So this is how I articulate. That's why in last one generation we were so down.
Okay.
Today we could not. See, one thing let me tell you. Before we merged India, we were not a poor.
Okay.
We were not backward people.
Hmm.
We were all rich people. We were all self-sufficient people. But how we became backward?
But how did people started coming? How did since when have this outsider come?
Exactly. This is where I'm coming.
Yeah.
We start our generation right from the time that we have merged with India. Whatever we have preserved before we merged with India, that has no value, that has become zero. Had it been all those our currency, all that our value could have been converted into a India currency, or could have given us equivalent to that value to us,
that was not
then
given.
we could have been a self-sufficient today.
But that was not given.
That's why when you say that you are backward people, I don't claim that I'm a backward. I was made backward.
Also, so when you merge, so the currencies became zero.
Yes. So we start our generation right from the time that we merged 15 October 1949.
Okay, okay, okay.
So how many generations?
Yeah, it's a
If
big,
it is
big.
15 years, only 2 generations.
Yes, yes, yes. So
If it
you
is
have,
now
so you have,
75, then 3 generations.
so you have except Dasrath Dev, nobody else.
No, no. See, Dr. Dev, he was given a chief minister while he was lying on a bed.
So, but except for him, there were not a single indigenous person as the chief minister.
There are many, there are many,
Okay.
there are many, but they will not give.
No, no, but I'm
Jitendra,
saying officially they were no.
Jitendra Chaudhary,
Okay.
Jitendra Chaudhary was one of the competent among the Communist Party. He is one of the competent who could speak English, who could speak Hindi, who could speak
When,
Bangla fluently, who could also speak Hindi, but he was not given, or neither other were not given. There are many others qualified candidates are there, but they were not given. But only Dosar Dev was given. But imagine, see, Dosar Dev could have become the first chief minister when the communists came,
okay.
but he was not given. But the person who was his assistant,
Mm-hmm.
who used to carry all his bag and luggage,
Mm-hmm.
became the chief minister.
Oh, Nripen Chakravarti.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. Nirpen Chakraborty was with Dosar Dev.
okay.
He was all in the hilly area, urban area, rural area. Yes,
He was one of the longest serving chief ministers also.
yes, one of the longest serving chief ministers.
So tell me now, if I ask you in terms of indigenous people and their territories, the land and the forest and the water resources, what is the condition in Tripura? Outside Tripura, we don't know much about, the access to the natural resources, the
See,
land, the rights.
the condition, let me tell you. Out of 10,493 square kilometer,
Mm-hmm.
7,491 square kilometer is under Autonomous District Council.
Okay. Autonomous
In
District Council.
Tripura, out of this 10,493 square kilometer, 60% is a forest land.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to ADC, out of 7,491 square kilometer, 80% is a forest land. 80%. So, who is the owner of the forest? Union Government of India. Then these 20%, where do indigenous people live? Indigenous people live in 20% of land. Now, who has the right? No one has the right. So the forest resources are being taken away by the companies, by the government, all the resources. Now all this ONGC mining, taking out a gas, is from where? It is all from the indigenous land. It's all within the Autonomous District Council territory.
But who are heading the Autonomous District Council territories? That's also important, no? Because they are ruling that area.
Now, Autonomous District Council, as I have said, it is ruled by the Communist Party.
Right
But
now.
as I have said, the Communist Party who sits in the city dictate them, and whatever they say, they have to do. And they cannot do beyond that. Right? So they are under the regime of their dictatorship.
Oh.
Now, since the 5-year term is already over, now it is under the governor.
Okay.
Now the council has been already dissolved, and now it is under the administrative, under the governor.
So we might have new election in the coming days.
Yes, new election supposed to held due to this Corona COVID-19 pandemic did not happen. Now, as I told you, even if our people rules, but if they belong to a national political party, they cannot do anything.
Why?
If you are in a regional political party, then you can do. Because you are the party who talks about the right of the indigenous people, who talks about your land, who talks about your resources, who talks about your culture, who talks about your language. Of Borok, see, in Tripura we are having state language. State language means it should be one language,
Yeah.
but they are first language, second language.
What is the first language?
First language Bengali,
Second is English.
second language is Kok Borok.
Okay.
But how, what percentage the Kok Borok is being used in a office,
Administration. Mm.
administration? So there is also another big question. So even in terms of culture, in terms of language, we are being destroyed.
So it's a Bengali domination all the way, everywhere.
Yes, all the way, all the way, all the way. I sometimes those Bengali who are staying in Delhi or who are staying in West Bengal or in UP,
Yes.
they may get hurt if I
Yeah.
use as a plural term Bengali. So that's why I say non-indigenous people of Tripura,
No.
so that all those people they don't get hurt. Because
But then,
I have a mind. I understand the people. We are not against Bengali. We are not against. But we are against a system that makes us minority, that makes us microscopic, that has destroyed our culture, that has destroyed our history, that has destroyed our language. That is where I'm against.
that has to be questioned, definitely, because,
Exactly.
it's,
When I have adopted your culture, your language, your food habit, but when I'm asking you, at least respect my culture, then your hand is on my neck.
so there are
Is
other people.
there equal respect?
Yeah. But there are other people also, other than the Bengalis also.
No, other than the Bengali,
Very many.
very minimum, they are not visible.
Okay.
There are few Nepalis,
Okay.
there are few Rathuls and Jain who have been brought by our king during our king times.
Okay.
I mean, there are 1 to 2 to 3 families, or at the most 50 families,
Okay.
but not more than that.
Okay. So, in terms of if we classify like SC, ST, OBCs, I think Tripura never had the reservation for the OBCs. Are there OBCs there in Tripura?
I think there is. OBCs are there because I have seen the OBC commissions are there.
Yeah, I found, I
Yes,
heard
yes.
that they have a substantial number, but there is no reservation for them.
Yes. Yes, so far I haven't come across. There was like ST, SC, and
OBC.
general.
Okay.
But I think now OBCs are also having some percentage.
Okay. And what is the percentage of reservation for the scheduled castes? SCs?
SCs are, I think they are around 12%, if I'm not
12%.
mistaken. Yeah, I think.
The population is 12% in Tripura.
I mean, the reservation policy. I don't know the exact their population, but for ST, for us, is 31%.
Okay. So, good. So, are there any like companies coming up and grabbing the land, like in the name of mining or in the name of infrastructure happening in your state? Private grab.
Yes. There are many. And coming to that, actually, I got a little confused on the SC reservations. I think somewhere there are also 7% reservations.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
7%, yes. Sorry.
If you have 31%.
No. I made a mistake because last year in 2019, 50 seats of engineering from central government came. And there, they have given us only 10 seats, whereas they have given to SC 12 seats.
Okay.
So I just got confused of that.
Okay.
Then we fought, and I said, whereas we're supposed to get 31%, we are not given, and whereas SCs are only 7 point something, and they're getting 12%. How that has come all of a sudden? Sorry, sir, I actually I made a mistake. Anyway, that is now clear.
Okay.
Now, yes, now grabbing the land in the sense, see, now ONGC is already there. GAIL is there, NEPCO is there,
But they are the public
and
sector. Are
now,
the private sector there?
yes, there are also private sector, and there are many private sector that has come in, but they were not actually being popularized.
Okay.
That was very kind of hidden. I mean, they were not making any official,
Okay.
declaration, and I haven't seen like in the newspaper and all. But like how I have come to know is that, see, we have a Star Line private company who actually does this tower,
Okay.
no, this high voltage tower.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And when our private land paddy fields are being used without any notifications, then people will start questioning, who are you? With what power you came and acquire my land? So that point of time on when we protest and when we had submitted a complaint, there only we came to know that Starline's private companies are there. So like where now this in Delhi we have this near the Hyatt Hotel, EIL or
Okay. Yeah. Engineers India
ELNT
Limited.
or something like the LNT
Okay.
or something company,
Yeah.
right?
LNT. Yes.
So
Yes.
they are also here now,
Okay.
and there are many companies,
Mm-hmm.
and there are many companies, small, visible companies are here, but there are many companies who have entered. Why? The reason is that now the Chittagong port has opened and the corridor is Tripura.
Okay.
So that has been already, I think, completed recently. The government of India came into a press conference and declared that we are happy that the port is already open. Now, Tripura is also supplying the power to
Bangladesh.
the international. Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal.
Okay. Also, it will go from Tripura.
Yes, and
Okay.
the rest, India.
Okay.
Now, all these resources are being mined from our indigenous land. Autonomous District Council supposed to get all the share,
Mm.
and it is not the state.
Yeah.
But here is just the opposite. It is the state who is taking all the share. And sometime in once in a blue moon, they give one person's share to the Autonomous District Council.
Okay.
So Autonomous District Council doesn't have any power on land,
Okay.
on forest, or natural resources. All those six schedule, paragraph 3 talks
Mm-hmm.
about that Autonomous District Council has the power to enact law for the
Yes.
land allotment and land distribution.
Yes.
35 years down the line, till today, Autonomous District Council could not make any law because during the communist regime, the Autonomous District Council has
Entire sentence.
okay. I'm saying for the last 35 years down the line, Autonomous District Council could not enact any law, although 6th schedule paragraph 3 talks about clause A talks about ADC Autonomous District Council has the power to enact law for the land allotment and the land distribution. Since then, in 2013, when the state came with a proposal to amend the Tripura Land Revenue and Land Reform Act 1960,
Okay.
then we protest because the amendment bill which is placed is going to actually away all the indigenous land. So therefore, in fearing of that, we protest and we say to stop. This is against the indigenous people mandate.
Okay.
During that time, the Autonomous District Council, under the leadership of Debbarma, had passed the bill on this particular subject which I have cited. And after passing the bill, they have sent to the state cabinet for the approval. But the state cabinet, although it is the CPM government again, did not approve and did not even open the file, but rather than ask the ADC, Automobile District Council, to withdraw their proposal.
Okay.
So they have to withdraw their proposal, and hence till today no act has been passed.
Okay. So, how many district councils are there in Tripura?
We have only one.
There is only one.
Yes,
So
we have only one.
this council has like, as you're saying, 6 scheduled area,
Yes.
and they have enough rights, but they have never been used.
Yes, they have no power on land. Then what is the meaning of having the sixth schedule when you are not giving the power to control their land and territory, their resources? It is a state who is having the power to use the land and give the allotment. Autonomous District Council is not having. But whereas in other state of the Northeast region, Autonomous District Council has the power for the land allotment. And
Actually, the perhaps you know is better because the demography of Tripura has changed in the last 70 years. As you are saying that the indigenous people have become a minority in their own state, and that is the reality. That is why the political pressure is not there. Like elsewhere, there is politics.
So, since again you are reminding me, that's why even I actually shared to the Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah ji that you are so much concerned about the minority from different part of the country, but the same minority coming to your own country and making your own citizen minority, and for that minority you are not having any concern.
But the one of the very important thing that the central government has done in recent years, and which has not been actually heard much because in the din of anti-CA protest and probably in the pandemic, was the deal of this Broke people, Tripura, Mizoram, and central government, which I think you got signed in January.
No, actually that has nothing to claim as a big achievement, nothing.
Why?
They are our own citizens.
But
they are our own citizens.
But there was a conflict.
And it is the administrative failure.
Yes, that I agree.
That is the administrative failure, and that is not a achievement of our people. And that signing the agreement on that particular time was not a talks that we had with the government of India.
But then
we were under the talk, thinking, and we came into a discussion, in a conclusion with the Home Minister after a prolonged discussion. And he said that I have 100 rupees. And within that 100 rupees, if you ask even 99.9, I can give you.
Okay.
But in 100 rupees, if you ask 2,000, that too impossible from my side to give you.
Okay.
So let us understand the circumstance and atmosphere and the environment of the nation and of your Tripura, and we are for your people.
Okay.
In good faith, I was very happy when Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah ji talked to us in that way. And he said, if you agree, we will sign the agreement even today and tomorrow. Or else, if you have any other doubt and if you want to go and consult with your larger civil society, then you can go and have a consultation and come back and you can sign an agreement.
Okay.
But in good faith, we believe that and we trust and we came back.
Okay.
But we were never called. But after prolonged 1 month, 2 months, we pressurized our Honorable Chief Minister of Tripura, Shri Biplab Dev. Then he sent us to Delhi.
Okay.
we supposed to meet on that particular evening, but we were not given time. Then again we were informed that next day morning you will be given time. Morning came, evening came, next day came, third day came, fourth day came, fifth day came, sixth day came, no news. We keep on pressurizing to give us the appointment, no news. Then after a week, we somehow got an appointment with the uh, Ministry of State of Home, Kishanji.
Reddy, Mr. Reddy, GK
Yes,
Reddy.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, Mr. Reddy.
Yeah.
Then he said, okay, our Honorable Home Minister is in Gujarat. He will be coming tomorrow. So we'll fix the time tomorrow morning. Tomorrow came, no news. Evening came, no news. So later on, our Chief Minister landed there to sign an agreement on that brew
Okay.
displace. And
People.
after signing that, he met us. Then he said, what happened? Why you couldn't meet? I could not understand. And finally he said, the main important has been all this signed. The agreement has already been signed. So there is nothing much more important for you to actually sign any agreement. So I think that is more than enough. I was so shocked. In our fight, in our demand on CAB, Brew displays agenda was never there. It was not there. But in order to hijack our demand, in order to hijack our protest, they have hijacked and brought the brew displays situation into an agreement. Even that today, although we are not part of that agreement, but even today, now there is a lot of problem. They couldn't implement. Why? This Nagrik Suraksha, they are a group there in Kanchanpur, and few thousand Mijus are there. They both community came together and they are timing this brew displaced people, saying that they are dacoit
Oh.
and they are uncivilized, they are killers, they are thieves. So much undemocratic word and this kind of, you know, the word that they have used is unthinkable by like you and me today in a civilized society. And they said that they cannot rehabilitate them there. Now government of Tripura is listening to their demand and they are changing their agree, which they
Right.
have been agreed.
So
Now
normally
my
the
question, now my question to the whole administration, my government,
yeah.
whether you are respecting your own agreement that you have signed with the government of India and the displaced peoples and the state government, are you respecting that agreement that which you have signed, or are you violating that, disrespecting that, and now giving more the importance to those people who is protesting against the settlement of the brood displaced people?
So I
We
want to ask you.
even
So I want to ask you
recently
a
I
question.
even have submitted the application seeking the appointment by the by the chief minister, but till today I was not informed.
Okay. So I have like I want to clarify this thing that this agreement, which actually I think when you came to Delhi, I had spoken to you that time. Somewhere I know that you are very happy that you are here and this agreement has been done.
No. I think that was a miscommunication that you had. I said we are happy that the government of India has called us
Mhm.
to have a dialogue,
Okay.
right?
But see,
But all this agreement, that the brew agreement that has been signed, is just to disturb our talks.
But this was
I'm not saying that I'm not happy.
okay.
I too happy that
No, but I'm asking you this question now.
anonymously they came into a conclusion to solve the
No,
brew
because this is
displaced
this
people.
yeah, because
I'm
I want
happy
uh,
on that human ground, on that humanitarian ground. I'm happy,
yeah.
but I'm not happy for which I was called, for which I'm supposed to sign an agreement,
Yes, that
was
is
not
surprising.
even give the opportunity to me.
That is quite surprising actually, because we all felt
Exactly.
that we all
And,
felt that,
and,
it's the
and how can you, being as a home minister, can betray us in that manner? That shows that
so so
he don't
so
have any
no
respect.
no, they signed the deal with the Tripura government
Yes,
basically,
yes.
and
Basically, they signed with the Tripura government,
probably
and that is
because
not our concern.
okay, but didn't you protest with the government, the indigenous
Pardon?
peoples? Didn't your organization speak to the chief minister that why has he done so?
No, we didn't ask anything in regards to that. If the government of Tripura has taken a decision to rehabilitate
Because
them,
no.
we welcome.
Why I'm saying is that it's good that I'm not saying it is wrong. It is good that they have done a deal. But what I'm saying is that because Tripura government should have taken you into confidence.
Yes, that is, I mean, that is one aspect. But my question is that there is nothing link between our talks and this brew agreement.
Okay.
The only brew agreement that we had discussed is that when I forgot the date, the first meeting held in Assam Bhavan, Kotulia Mark,
Okay.
with the Home Minister. But that is not particularly the group of Tripura.
Okay. So
But the entire Northeast has
yeah.
met with the Home Minister. But when Home Minister met with the Tripura team, Chief Minister was there,
Okay.
then different political parties there. Even our Maharaj Pradut Kishore
Yeah.
Manika Debbarma was there. Even our MPs and MLAs, they were there. But that is just a general discussion about the situations of Tripura. Then when we had discussed about the situation of Tripura, this particular issue of brood displays came into. And
Okay.
we said this has been almost one generation.
Yeah. This is a very long. It
It's a
is. Yes.
long.
Yeah.
So why don't you solve amicably? Because now you're in the power, you can
Yeah. Yeah.
discuss certain things and resolve it. So that is why, and we said we have no objection, even if they are being given a settlement
Yeah,
in
but perhaps,
Tripura.
perhaps that might have been, they might have taken your approval that you have no objection, so they
Yes,
might have
no.
thought it's
So,
okay.
but after that, but in that particular meeting, nothing was finalized regarding on any issues,
Okay,
and neither we were being convey any message that the brew agreement is going to take place. Nothing.
okay,
We only came to know on the day when they have signed the agreement.
okay. So I want to ask you this
And we
question.
were and we were kept there for almost 2 weeks, but Home Minister did not meet us. And in between, they met and they signed an agreement. And even after signing that agreement, Home Minister did not meet us.
So now I want to ask you this question. Now you say you welcome it and whatever the internal things, whether he met or not met, that is I don't know what is the political connections and
No,
all those things.
I mean, there is nothing questions or doubt that this is an internal
Yeah. This
conflict
is
or internal
basically
nothing.
okay.
This is a very clear indication. We are not with the state concern. We had protests against the CAB. Then the question came. Then the state called us for a dialogue. Then the state government has handed over this issue to the government of India, central government. So central government will look after into the issue. Then accordingly, the state government has sent us to the center. We went to the center. Then we had a dialogue,
So
and
what was
not only
the
once, we have twice on the same day.
So what was the like? How did you go? Like which organization? How was you leading? Like the
No,
joint?
the organization, the entire civil society, the civil society comprised of uh,
Joint.
engineer association, doctor association,
Okay, okay,
lawyer association, student
okay. So
organization,
it's a kind of
women
joint.
organization, sport organization, even a
Okay,
political organization. They are all there. So
okay,
this is a one umbrella of all civil society and political parties and others
okay,
and
okay. It's
NGOs.
a kind of joint action committee.
Yes, that's why I told you that I'm a convener of the Joint
Okay,
Action Committee
so
of
okay,
Civil
okay,
Society.
okay, okay.
Yes.
So I want to ask you now the question: when this deal was signed, it was said, and I'm giving you a little bit of data that I covered, that there are 37,000 displaced Bru families who will get benefited from this, and they will be settled in Tripura, and they will be given 0.03 acres of land, 1.5 lakh rupees for housing, 4 lakh rupees for one-time government help, 5,000 rupees per month for 2 years for their monthly needs, and free ration. These are
These
the
haven't
three.
been implemented yet.
So I want to ask you, what is the position right now?
The position is still, as I told you, there are
Because
some,
because this is a big thing.
there are some few non-indigenous people and the indigenous Mizo people came together and they start protesting against the
Okay, against
settlement
this.
issues.
Okay,
So due to that, no administration has taken any step so far. Still,
okay.
it is in a room. Still, it is in a file.
It's in a file. It is not moved now much.
No, no, not there. It is.
Probably
It
because
hasn't moved yet.
of the pandemic and all these things is also
There is also another reason,
yeah, yeah.
but that is not to be taken as an excuse.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is this. What I'm saying is now coming to this point. If this agreement is like agreed by the government of Tripura and the government of Mizoram and the central government, is there any social impact of this on the people of Tripura? Will there be a
Yes, why
negative
not?
impact?
Yes, why not? Say, suppose the negative impact is that initially, okay, fine, this prolonged one generation issue has been solved. No doubt, since they are going to rehabilitate them, let them resettle them. Okay, fine, no doubt, it was going smoothly. But when some section of the Bengali from that particular area and some section of the Mizo start protesting that there should not be
Settled
given
here.
any settlement near and around that Kanchanpur area.
Oh,
So that has become, and now government said, okay, now government is withdrawing, almost like withdrawing their decision, saying that the seven place where there is no controversy will rehabilitate them first,
okay.
then thereafter the remaining they will decide. My question is that now, you have all the sign an agreement and you have already identified the area where you are going to rehabilitate them. Now few people start protesting and you are listening to them, but you are not listening or you are not respecting your agreement. So there is a big question, a big doubt on me.
So there is no.
Secondly,
Mhm.
secondly, my my doubt is that why are you taking so much time to rehabilitate them? What is the reason? You have every power, the administration is in your hand, so you're supposed to execute, but you haven't started. So why? So there must be some lawful,
Yeah.
something is happening.
So you think that if the indigenous people are settled here, obviously the number of indigenous population grew up in Tripura.
No, see, there is no question like number of Indian people will increase or not. The question is we consider them, they are a part of Indian citizen.
Okay.
The Mami district of Mizoram was at Tripura land before,
Okay.
but only on partition this has been taken away. So the Mamit districts are still being, uh, habited by our own people, Riang, displaced group people. There is their own land, there is their own ancestor and motherland. But today, government has given a settlement to Tripura. And there also I'm having my question to the central government. Why you cannot make Mizoram government to take their own citizens back? Why you are compromising and giving the populations to your small state again? So there are many
Yeah, you have to speak to.
questions that
Yeah,
we
there.
can raise, that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can ask.
So we hope like.
But I'm not against of this agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine. We welcome them. But we should not suffer just because we are humble to people.
So the Indigenous People Party is in power right now with the BJP in Tripura.
Yes,
So what is its position? How does it look at this whole issue?
they have no position because they could not do anything. Now revenue minister is our own people. Tribal welfare is our own people. Forest department, foreign minister is our own people. Finance minister and deputy chief minister is our own people.
Oh, there are quite
But
substantial, quite a big number.
but they have no power. You are given the name of tiger, but you don't have to bite anything. So just namesake. So my question is that when you are giving the push and chair, why don't you give full-fledged power to exercise within their own jurisdiction?
That's see that question has to be asked by the political parties and those who
Yes,
are sharing the power.
that is yeah, right.
We sometimes get very upset and agitated when we know that the political parties compromise and adjust things.
Yeah.
So my question is now, what is the future? Like, what will be the position of the indigenous people? How these people will go back to their own when the election comes? How are you?
If this trend continue, the indigenous people's situation will become more worse, and we will be like a red Indian one day.
Endangered
That
species.
yes, that even if you are coming from Delhi, if you want to have something, or if you want to see the indigenous people, then you have to ask and you have to see in a Google where are the indigenous people living. So that kind of situations might come if this trend continue.
Oh, this is a matter of great concern. Obviously, on the indigenous peoples, we abide by the international documents, and there are issues related to the forest, river, and water resources. Apart from that, their cultural practices and their own status, which at Tripura we see is really a matter of concern. So I would thank you, Anthony, for giving us this detailed analysis and reflection of what is happening in Tripura and what is the status of the indigenous people there. Thank you very much, and wish you all good health and a lot of energy to fight your battle, and hope the indigenous people battle will succeed, and they will have their rightful place in the political, social, cultural history of landscape of Tripura. Thank you very much.
Also, thank you, Rawat, for your times and for having a conscience about our peoples, and for your curiosity to know, and for your their courage to actually hear us. The courage to actually highlight our issue is not a small job. You need to have a lot of braveness. You need to be a real vocal to actually bring this kind of issue to highlight into the mainstream, into a national sector. So I thank you for having great concerns for us and for your curiosity to know more about our issue and crisis that we are facing today. So we hope in future that we'll keep on continuing the same
Yes.
work
Yes.
and we'll keep in touch. And you too, be safe, take care, and always live in good health and with a positive mind. Sometimes you have to make negative as a positive in order to make yourself a healthy person.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rawat.